Hi everyone, my name is Kelsie and I am the Learning and Community Engagement Curator at the Vernon Public Art Gallery. And I thought I would take a minute today to show you how to do a fun painting that you should hopefully be able to do at home with supplies that you have on hand. And this painting is inspired by Brian Riley. So currently at the art gallery we have an exhibition of his paintings on display. Of course we can't see them at the moment as we are closed, but that doesn't mean that we can't create a painting inspired by his work. So I will post a link on our page here to his paintings online so you can check them out. But the painting that we are going to be doing today is kind of more of an abstract scraped painting. So you can use whatever paper you have. A thicker paper works best, but if all you have is printer paper, that should work too. It just might get a little bit mucky and wrinkly as you start layering your paint on it. But yeah, please use whatever you have. I have printmaking paper here. Watercolor paper also works great. You can even use some cardboard. Like really, just get creative and use whatever you have on hand. I think it looks great with a nice crisp and clean border. So I have some painter's tape. This is optional, you don't have to do it, but I am going to do it, so feel free to join me. We are just going to put some tape on the edge of the paper and just kind of mask it off. You can just do one line of tape across, or you can do double if you want a thicker border. It's completely up to you. Also, as my paint rolls away, whatever paint you have on hand, you can make work. It's going to look better if you've got an acrylic type of paint, but if you just have tempera, that's totally fine too. Watercolor, and you can experiment. It's not going to look like how we are making it today. It's best if you have an acrylic or a tempera paint. So once you've got your border taped off, you are going to need some paint. I've got paint here. I just grabbed whatever I had in my little box here. So again, like I've got acrylic, I have some of the cheaper dollar store type paint, whatever you have on hand is great. You also need something to scrape. So I pulled out a business card that I'm going to use. Also, you can just take a cardboard box and just cut a scraper out of your cardboard box. So this handy dandy Triscuit box here we've got going on. Got a couple scrapers here. And there's one or two ways you can do this. You can get crazy and just put the paint directly on the paper. Scrape. You can also, if you've got already some jars of pre-mixed paint, just use a paintbrush and scoop it out directly onto your paper. You can do one color at a time, or you can start layering colors next to each other. So maybe in this corner I'll do a couple to show you. A little bit of orange too. Take your scraper. And then if you can see, it really starts to mix in there, create some interesting textures. You keep scraping and layering. Now, I am going to just use some warmer colors. You can use whatever colors you want, but keep in mind if you are starting to use some warmer colors and then add some cooler colors while they're all still wet, you're gonna end up with a mucky brown color. So, if you want to use both sides of the spectrum of colors, go for it, but make sure that they are dry as you're layering so you don't end up just mixing and making, but yeah, get people with browny color. Unless you want brown, then go for it. No rules. Maybe I'll do a little bit of yellow. Now with Brian O'Reilly's artwork that we have on display, he uses paint, but he also incorporates some found objects like tarps. He's got some collage type photographs. Looks like some old advertisements of some sort. Maybe some pictures from magazines, some old text. That is something you can totally do as well. When there's a section that's dry, if you wanted to cut some sort of found materials out, paste it on, paint and layer on top, that's great. That's not a bad idea. You're the artist. I am just giving you the tools. You go for it. Do whatever inspires you. Also, right now I've just been using the card and it's completely straight. So practice when you're doing your pulls, holding it straight up, holding it at an angle, really flat. See how the paint changes and moves as you do this. You'll notice as you're pressing down more, you're going to get more of that smeared mixing. If you're holding it up, it's just going to kind of scrape it across. Another thing you can do is with maybe one of your cardboard ones, is you can start to cut grooves or different patterns into this. So I think I'm just going to do a couple triangles. That. You see that? So if you just keep on trucking along, adding colors, I would try and get as much color and layers on here as possible. It's going to look the best the more paint and the more color you have on there, especially if you do tape a border off. Once you peel that tape off to reveal the border, if you've got paint literally covering the whole thing at every corner, you will actually notice that nice, clear, crisp border. If you kind of leave some white spaces, you're not going to notice it as much. And it is important to have white space and kind of some breathing areas in your artwork, just for when you're looking at it visually, but that can be done with white paint. You don't need to leave the white paper necessarily. I am a fan, personally, of kind of having the colors mix together as I pull it across paper. So, feel free to do that. And today I'm not going to add any collage elements just for time's sake. So this is super fun for anybody in any age, really. Toddlers are going to have a great time just mucking around, moving the paint, exploring. Obviously some of the older people who are going to be doing this are going to be thinking more about just sort of the visual elements like balance and unity and color and texture. We're going to start focusing a little bit more about those type of things when creating the artwork. But really, all ages, super fun, super accessible. I'm going to continue painting this and then I will post my finished photograph in the comment section, so stay tuned. And this is our first visual art lesson online. As you can see, I'm home, I'm not at the gallery as we are closed, so I'm going to try and do as many of these as we can over this next period here to keep you guys getting creative and engaging with our artworks even though you can't see it in person. So if you like it, let us know in the comments. If there's anything that you want to see particularly, please let me know. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you guys and hearing what you have to say. Take care.